Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a new series that I am launching. And this series is a very special series called Expert Interviews with Ken. This is a series where I basically interview other people who are experts in their own fields, whatever their profession is, and we get a chance to hear their story and what it is they're doing for people. So with that, let's dive into today's guest on Expert Interviews with Ken. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Expert Interviews with Ken. And today I have a special guest. Her name is Courtney, and she is a dog mom and newly published author. She has been a dog mom for 7 years and takes the lessons that she learned into her writing. Courtney grew up in a Christian household and is the oldest of 3 kids and works as a custodian. However, she dreams of having her own. She dreams of being her own boss. And she never once thought about writing, but she felt as if the Lord was opening that door and answering her prayers. In 1 year, she has published 2 books, but the one book that she is mostly happy about is her children's book, which is inspired loosely by her dog's adventures. Aside from being a writer, she also has a YouTube and Instagram, and that she posts about Lady, which is her dog's name, and the lessons that they learned over the years. So welcome, Courtney. I'm so excited to have you on today's show. And so let's dive into your story. Let's unpack that a little bit. Let's find out more details about who you are and why you got into this whole writing thing and why it's just such a pleasure being a dog mom. Just unpack all the things.
Well, first off, thank you, Ken, for allowing me on your show. I greatly appreciate it. And as far as everything that went on, so I had wanted a beagle for many years, ever since reading the books, the Shiloh books by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. I have fallen in love with those stories, reread them several times, and that was my my big goal, to have a beagle. And it took a long time. I think I wanted one since I was about 12 or 13, and I didn't get Lady until I was 18, which happened around the time that we had lost my grandfather on my mom's side. Literally, I had been praying to the Lord to bring me a beagle, and here the perfect time came up, but not without some difficulty. There were 2 instances where I was close to getting a beagle, and both of them fell through. So when I actually got Lady, it really had showed me that God's timing is always perfect, because it's like, I wanted a beagle then and, at that time, but I needed her at this rate. So she came at literally the perfect time. And there's definitely been some lessons along the way that I've learned the hard way with her, but I wouldn't take any of it back. I love her so much. She is my best friend, aside from my family. And I just love her so much. And then jump to last year, I kind of have a habit of I'll listen to soundtracks that I love, and then literally will envision my own story in my head as I'm listening to the music. So one day I had an idea for a story, and I thought, you know what, I might as well just take this down. So I typed it up in 3 days. This was a historical fiction, a very short book, which was just released. But my mom had read it, and I had a couple other friends read it, and they all liked it. And I thought, okay, well, this is good, but I wanted something that I really felt close to. So I decided to make a children's series based off of Lady, and then take like certain lessons here and there, and incorporate it into the story. But our first story that is out is really just the introduction to those series. I'm still very proud of it. I worked hard on editing it, getting people to edit. I worked with a really good illustrator. But I definitely have more on the way. We'll see what the Lord does with that. But yeah, I literally had no interest in writing. I honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I don't have any faith in myself, or didn't have any faith in myself when it came to writing. So it was one of those things where it was like, can I do this? But it was just like, it was one of those things that just wouldn't leave my head. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to take it down and see what happens. And people said I'm doing okay. Like, people are actually enjoying what I write and everything. In fact, my romance book, that a friend of mine has right now, she actually asked me if there's going to be a sequel to that book. And I'm like, I don't think so. And she's like, well, they need a sequel. And I said, okay, I'll work on it. So yeah, there's that.
That is really awesome. You know, it reminds me of, so the thing about it is in the beginning, stuff like that, it does seem a little scary and it does seem a little undoable. Like me, an author, a writer, what? You know, it's kind of like me in front of a camera. Like 2 or 3 years ago, actually, I'd like to say around 4 years ago, my very first founding mentor, um, his name is Mike Montez, still a really good friend of mine, and kind of like behind the scenes mentor now, but he was my founding mentor. I remember when he was trying to get me in front of the camera and get me to put out more content and get in front of the camera more. The whole idea of that just I really honestly deep down in my heart wanted no part of that in any way, shape, or form. I'm like, I don't want to get in front of a camera. I don't even like really sharing too much personal stuff on Facebook. And now you want me to get in front of the camera and do this, you know? And but now, obviously I finally did. And now I am like totally 100% comfortable in front of a camera. I do my own interviews. I have a whole nother show that I co-host with a partner of mine. We just did a huge, smashing successful, show last night where we had 8 previous guests on our show, powerhouse leaders, on that call. It was such an amazing conversation. You know, 4 years ago, if you were to tell me that I'd be a co-host of a show that just finished episode 88 and doing my own podcast, I've got my own YouTube channel and all the things, I wouldn't have believed you. But all that to share that it once you dive in and once you start doing it, it becomes easier and easier and easier and easier. And see, you've written many books. How many books have you written so far?
So I have finished out of my children's series, I think about 5. And then I'm ashamed to say, I have started a couple like historical fiction books, but
Hmm.
I have yet to finish them.
Now, these books you're writing, how long are they? How many pages typically?
So the children's book range, I think, between at least 20 to say 40, and I'm just estimating. As far as the historical fiction books go, I'm trying to make them longer. My first book is very, very short. It's literally 10 chapters, but it's literally like a page and a half, maybe 2 at most, maybe.
Hmm.
So but again, I'm my own worst critic. There's going to be a lot that I'm going to be nitpicking for myself. But yeah, that's basically how they range. I would like to make longer stories, which is what I'm trying to work on, but I don't think, I mean, again, the Lord can do anything, but me personally, I don't think I would ever write a novella such as like Charles Dickens, David Copperfield type deal.
Hmm.
Like, I don't think I could ever write that kind of a long book, but who knows?
You know what's interesting? So before I ask that question though, let me switch gears, because there's a direction that I want to go with this. But so why exactly do you want to start a business?
So I would like to start something that I'm very passionate about. But that is the thing. Like, I struggle to figure out what that is. I've been praying to the Lord to open up the right door, but I can honestly say that aside from the writing, what I do love to do is watch movies and review movies. I've
Mm,
even mentioned to a friend of mine, I would like to maybe open up my own little movie theater. Not really a drive in, but possibly a movie theater that would play like the old classics. But that's more of a dream than a goal, I think. But I'm not saying it could never happen, but it would have to be the Lord that really opens up that door. But I would just like to be able to do something that I can enjoy and share my passion with other people.
mhm.
And, you know, obviously make some success out of it, but I would be able to enjoy it and share, my love for the Lord at the same time.
Exactly. And it's really important to allow your business to be faith based, and even an interesting story behind that. Yeah, I launched my brand and company summer of 2020. Mastery Weight Loss, yeah, was launched, I think around August, September of 2020. And I mean, obviously, I was a Christian back then, but I just kind of launched it. And over the next, 2.5, 3 years, just kind of did the business thing, building it up, doing all the things that I was supposed to do, and had my own personal relationship with Christ out here. It wasn't until about a little over a year ago, that I really just started leaning in and asking God, okay, how do I make you a part of my brand? How do I make you a part of what I'm doing here? How do I graft you in, your message and all that other stuff, and have my brand also be faith based? Well, the really cool thing about that is, now looking back on hindsight, though, I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't do that from the beginning, because from the point that really just started leaning in and just seeking Him on bringing Him into my brand, I just feel like everything just has exploded in my business since then. He brought me a wonderful, powerful, faith based coach and mentor that has literally helped me build my brand, not build my brand, but take all of the knowledge and all of the research that I have done, the hours and hours of research and the experience I have, over 13 years of experience, and package it all up into what do I do now. And, the other cool thing about that is also now I have literally a global client base, and I was working with a client the other day that came out of my boot camp and just, felt totally empowered around their food choices and what they were, so all the things. So, all that to say to anybody listening, the audience listening here, look, if you're a Christian and you're thinking about going into business for yourself, from the start, seek God and allow Him to be a part of that, because you'd be surprised on how things just begin to bloom that way. Now, again, it's not going to happen overnight. Businesses do take a while to get off the ground, but yeah, that's just so critically important. Now, one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, Courtney, so your business model, what exactly would it be if you were to pick it up?
Can you give me some examples?
Well, I mean, what were you thinking about doing with your business? Would you do like a little bit of a challenge, like a 4-day challenge, like a lot of people do? Would you do like a 5-day challenge, or something like, how would you help people with your business? How would you, what exactly do you want to do to help people in your business?
Well, um, as far as the challenges are concerned, I've never really thought about it that way. I basically would just think whatever lessons that I have gone through and what I've learned, and believe me, I've learned a lot within a year, especially over the publishing thing. Um, I would give that advice to anyone that was interested and that had hooked up with me.
Hmm.
Like if they said, well, we're doing a book, we're doing this, I would literally give them the lessons I've learned and the advice, if they were open to it.
Right, right. Um, there's somebody that I want you to write down and follow on YouTube.
Okay.
He is very much so a leader, a thought leader, an expert, and all the things. And I follow him. I love his stuff. He is also faith based, and he's got great stuff. His name is Myron, Myron.
Okay.
Golden is his last name, spelled exactly how it sounds.
Okay.
Find him on YouTube and go start watching his content. You'll get a lot from
Gotcha.
him. Yeah, you'll get a ton from him. And one of the reasons why I kind of like led into those questions is because here's what I'm doing right now. So I have a literal like mini boot camp series, educational boot camp series that I'm running. And basically through everything that I've developed in that, and it's quite in depth, it's quite extensive. Everything that I've developed in that, I am now taking and I'm writing my second book with it. So my entire boot camp literally is going to be my second book that I'm writing, which I'm then going to go through all the official channels and actually get it physically published and all the other things.
Congratulations.
Yes. So Myron Golden, though, that's exactly what he did. His 5 day challenge that he has, that he runs very much often, like I don't know. I think he's got a new challenge like every month or every other month or something like that. He's taken everything that's in there, and both my coach and I both dove into one of his 5 day challenges. And let me tell you, it's extensive. It's very, very extensive for what you get. And he basically took that 5 day challenge and he wrote his book called Boss Moves. And it's a great book. And so that's kind of why I was leading into those questions because I'm like, okay, so you already like writing books. Why don't you do something like a little 5 day challenge to help other people with what you've learned, kind of build that out, and then write a book about it, and have that kind of be a really strong lead magnet for yourself. Does that make sense?
Of course.
That's where I was going with that. So I'm hoping now it makes more sense. Why is he asking me this question?
Yeah, no, it's totally cool. Anything to, help grow and everything is, really important.
Absolutely, absolutely. So curious, just another curious question. You work as a where is it? Custodian.
Custodian?
Yeah. Where do you work?
I work for a big corporation, which I will not name right now for
Yeah.
privacy reasons, but it's a big corporation building.
Wow. Um, and your responsibility, you have full responsibility, or are you a part of a team?
Part of a team.
Okay, that's awesome. Because I was going to say that sounds like a lot of work for your just lonesome little self. But okay, you've got a team. Good.
Oh, believe me, yes. Just one floor could be a little rough, as we actually experienced this week. So a whole building would
That's
be
awesome.
nearly impossible to do for one person.
So, all right. So, what are three things? What are three main things that you have learned so far on this entire venture? What are three big main things that you would share with somebody? These are the three things that I learned when I first started. What would they be?
So, first and foremost, keep Jesus centered, always keep it in prayer. And I would even offer advice as make sure you get sound advice from other fellow believers, fellow Christians, if you have friends. Two, don't rush into anything. I did a
Mm,
little bit of that this year, and that's why I'm not fully satisfied with my first book. Even though people are telling me, oh, it's really cute, it's a sweet short story, which I agree, but I still could have done better. So that would be the thing. Don't rush into anything. Make sure you have all your ducks in order make sure you have money as well, because this is not cheap. Um, and make sure you find the right people to work with you as
Mm,
well. Illustrator, publisher. Never go to a vanity publisher at all. First off, go to a regular publisher. Now, they're going to be harder to get through, but you're not going to pay someone to publish your book for you unless that's a route you want to go for. But I wouldn't recommend it.
right, right. No, typically the people that I know personally that have recently done the book have not gone through the vanity channels. They've gone through their own channels and then self promote the book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
that is a really good thing. So, do you have, so in speaking to people that are just starting in their business, what other main tips would you give them?
I would say that if it's something you're passionate about, don't give up on it.
Mhm.
There's going to be some hard days, of course, but you'll be able to get through it, especially if it's what the Lord laid on your heart. Just, keep Jesus centered and stay in the word too, because that is how God is going to speak to you as well. Always stay in the word and don't give up.
100%, 100%. That's a really huge thing. Never quit. One of the things that I teach in my program, and even with this last client that I was working with the other day, one of the things that I teach so strongly is, look, the times where you might fall off the horse, the weak moments, the challenges, and different things like that. Those are your growth points. Those aren't the points to sit there and throw in the towel and go, oh, this is just not working, da 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 da. Those are the points where you get to sit back, grow, get stronger, get wiser, get better. That's the whole key, especially with growing in a business. You're going to have those moments where it's a little bit of a lull, things aren't happening as quickly as you'd like. And it's very tempting to get very frustrated. It's very tempting to get discouraged and all of that. But one thing, my coach always reminds me of is, look, number one, God's got your algorithm. And so, I mean, it's not necessarily all about the Facebook algorithm or the YouTube algorithm or an Instagram.
Right.
You're under God's algorithm. He's going to bring you the people that He wants. And so you got to remember that. Secondly, remember that um, our God is a God of abundance. He's not a God of a pie shop. What do I mean by a pie shop? I mean, so it might be really easy to look at other coaches out there or other business and entrepreneurs out there that are making it, that are very successful. And you see them getting all the clients and possibly clients that would be ideal clients for you. And it could be very easy for you to fall into the trap of going, man, these people are getting my ideal client, and they're taking these people from me, and eventually there's going to be not that much left for me to pick from, right? It's a common thing that a lot of entrepreneurs fall into. And that's kind of thinking of, like it's a pie and there's only so many slices of that pie before it's gone. Well, God didn't open up a pie shop. God opened up the Garden of Eden, which is a garden of abundance. And so much so, like, for example, let's take the apple, for example. When you bite into an apple and you get to the center of it, what's in the center? Seeds, right? What happens when you plant those seeds?
You get
More.
another apple tree.
More trees, more apple trees. So you can kind of see where I'm going with that. And as you continue planting those seeds, you end up with a garden of abundance. And so it's important to remember that you serve a God of abundance. And there's plenty, plenty to go around. Any last thoughts, Courtney, before we start wrapping up?
Um, nah, I think we covered everything.
Awesome, awesome. Well, listen, share with the audience how they can connect with you if they like to work with you or learn some of the lessons that you have learned just beginning. How can people connect with you?
So, if you are interested in my books and my writing, you can contact me on my author page, which is under Courtney Lynn Grace. And obviously, it'll have a picture of my dog. So, I'm very easy to find in that regard. If you are interested in my views on old classic films, on the other hand, you can follow me on Facebook as well under Classics with Courtney.
Mm. That is awesome. And the links to connect with her will be in the description below this video, along with the bio that I read from earlier. And so you can connect with Courtney there. You can get a hold of some of her books, and just it's just so amazing. How many books did you say that you've written? Was it 7?
Yeah, I have about 5 of my children's books already written, but 2 that are published.
Awesome. Awesome. That is just absolutely incredible. So, as we're wrapping up, guys, I've got a couple announcements. So, check this out. I have lost 62.5 pounds and I've kept it off for 6+ years now, all without a diet and having that be sustainable. And so, what I'm doing right now is I am giving away my 3 secrets on how you can smash those sugar addictions, hunger issues, snacking issues, even emotional eating, lose that last 20 pounds or lose however many pounds you want to lose and be able to keep it off, all in 3 short one-on-one sessions with me. You will be equipped with an empowered mindset shift. You will be equipped to spot the industry lies and avoid the common pitfalls out there. And you are going to be equipped to be able to see past the marketing deceptions that this industry uses. They put it all over the packaging. They put it all over their food. They make you literally think what you're buying is healthy. Hey, look, it's only got 140 calories. Hey, look, it's got a great source of fiber. Hey, look, it's got this, it's got that. When in reality, all you're buying into is marketing, and it's actually not food. This is a system that's designed to literally keep you stuck. I literally set you free from that. Quoting one of my clients that have been through the boot camp, she came out on the other end and she's like, I'm excited to go to the grocery store now. And to be honest, who says that? I mean, I don't even say that, but she felt so empowered enough to be able to say that through my boot camp. Listen, right now, the boot camp usually goes for $97. Right now for the holiday season, and only for the holiday season, which we've got roughly 10, 11 days left, it's going for a smashing $75. You've got nothing to lose but those extra pounds, and you've got everything to gain in the right way. You will come out with more freedom. My boot camp is not about creating feelings of frustration around food or creating, deprivation. You will come out freer than you ever been before and enjoying the foods that God has designed, and you will know what those foods actually are. So with that, I'm going to encourage you, if you are listening to this, go join my boot camp. Even if it's not the holiday seasons and you see that boot camp is around $97, jump in. That is still a steal for what you're going to get. Like I said, you've got nothing to lose but those extra pounds and everything to gain in the right way. So with that, guys, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Expert Interviews with Ken. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Have a great rest of your day or evening, depending on where you are in the world and what time of day you are listening. I will talk to you on the next one, guys. Talk to you later.